NCRT 11th class chapter. Leafwood. The leafwood grew usually in moist and shady area. Habitats such as a bank, stream, marshy ground, dam soil, bark of trees, and deep in the wood. The plant body is a leafwood is thyllid. Margin the thallus is diversity and closely appreciated to the substrate. The leaf member heavy tin-like appendages in two rows on the stem-like structures. Asexual reproduction liver takes place by the fragmentation of thalli by the formation of a specialized structure called gametes. Gametes are green multicellular sexual buds which develop in small gametes are green multicellular sexual buds which develop in a small receptor called gametes. Cups locate on the thalli. They can become detached from the parent body and germinate to the from new individual during sexual reproduction, male and female sex. Organs are produced either on the same on different thalli. The saprophyte is deficient into a food. Certain capsule after meiosis spores are produced within the capsule. These spores germinated to form free-living gametophyte. Meiosis. The dominant stage is the life cycle of meiosis is the gametophyte, which consists of two stages. The first stage is the proteinaceous stage, which develops directly from spores and it is a creeping green branches and frequently filamentous stage. The second is the leaf stage which develop from the secondary protopa as a lateral bud. They consist of the upright cylinder axis bearing spirally arranged leaf. They are attached to the soil through the multicellular and branched rhizome. The stage bear the sex organ. Vegetative reproduction osmosis is fragmentations and budding in the secondary protoma. In sexual reproduction, the sex organ, authorized and arconia are produced as the apex of the leaf tissue. After fertilization, the zygote develop into saprophytes, consist of food setters and capsules. Saprophytic osmosis is more elaborate than in a live bud. The capsule contain spores and spores are formed after meiosis. The meiosis have an elaborate mechanism of spores disparate. Common example of meiosis are funeral pleuronages of softening. Pedophyta. The pedophyta include hostile and fun. Pedophyta are used for medicinal purpose in soil blender. They are also frequently ground ornamental. Evolutionary, they are the first terrestrial plant to process vascularization xylem phylum. You shall study more about the tissues in chapter 6. The pedophyta are found in the cool, damp, shady places through some may flourish well in shady soil conditions. You may recall that in Brophyta, he dominant phases in the life cycle is the gametophyte plant body. However, in Pedophytes, the main plant body is saprophyta, which is differentiated into two root. Stem leaves, these organ processes well differentiated vascular tissue. The leaves in Pedophyta are small. Microphyllae as a incellular are large. Macrophytes is infirm. The saprophyta bear sporangia that are substrated by the leaf-like appendages called saprophytes. In some cases, saprophytes may form a distant compact structure called strobiles, cones, cylindrical cries. The spongia produce spores by meiosis in spores mother cells. The spores germinate to give rise to inconsist small put multicellular. Strobiles, node, internode, branches, roots, stem, leaves, rhizome. Pedophytes, flagella, equisephone, solemnia. Free living, mostly photosynthetic thyroid gametophyte called protha. These gametophytes require cool, damp, shady places grow because of the specific rustic requirement and the need for the water fertilization. The spread of living pedophyte is limited and restricted to narrow geo geomorphal region. The gametophyte bear male and female sex organ called authorized and archegonia. Respectively, water is required from transfer to authorized the male gamete released from the anthroid to the mouth organ. Fusion of male gamete with the egg present in the argonium result in the formation of zygote. Zygote therefore produce a multicellular well differentiated saprophyta, which is the dominant phase of Proteophyta. In majority of the Proteophyta, all the spores all similar kind. Such a plant are called the homospore genera like Slingia and Salvia, which produce two kind of spores, macrolarge microspores, and are known heterotrophs. The megaspore and microspore germinate and give rise a female male gametophyte respectively. The female gametophyte in these plant are retained on the parent saprophytes. Saprophytes for variable period. The development of zygote into young embryos take place within the female gametophyte. This event is a precocious to the sea habit. The considered important step in ovulation. The pedophytes are further classified into four classes: Pistophrya, Allocopsia, Gymnosperm. The gymnosperm's naked sperm seed are plant in which the ovules are not enclosed by any ovule will remain exposed both before after fertilization. The seed that develop and post fertilizations are not covered, are naked. Gymnosperm include medium sized trees or tall trees and some. One of the gymnosperm that giant redwood tree is a sequoia, one of the tallest tree species. The root or generally taproot. The root are generally taproot. Root in some genera have fungus association in the form mycoda, while in some other cycas, small specialized root called cochite roots are associated with nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. The stems are unbranched cycas, branches spikes. The leaves may be simple compound in cycas, pinnate leaves persist for few years. The leaves are gymnosperm are well adapted. The withstand extreme temperature, humidity, and wind. The in conifers, the needle-like leaves reduce the surface area. Their thick cuticles and succulent stomata also help to reduce water losses. The gymnosperm are heterospore. They produce heliped microspore, megaspore. The two kinds of spores are produced with sporangia that are brown or spread, which are arranged spirally along an axis to form a lax or compact strobile or cones. The strobile bearing the microspore are the called the microspore or male strobile. The microspore develop into male gametophyte generation, which highly reduced and in the conified only a limited number of cells. This reduced gametophyte is called pollen grain. The, the development of pollen grain takes places with the microspongia. The cones bearing the megaspore, which values of our megaspore are called a microspora female. Strawberry, the male or female cones strawberry may born on the same trees. However, the cycas male cones are megaspore are born in different trees. The megaspore mother is a differentiate from one of the cells of nucleus. The nucleus is protected by envelopes, and the composite structure is called an ovule. The ovules are borne on the megaspore, which may be clustered to form the female cones. The megaspore mothers are divided meiotically to form four megaspore. One of the megaspore included within the megaspore develop into the multicellular females. Gametophyte that bears two or more archegonia. Female sex organ, the multicellular female gametophyte. It also retained with the megasporangium Unlike the bryophyta and periodophyta, in gymnosperm, the male and female gametophyte do not have independent free living existence. They remain within in the sporangia written on the sporophyte. The pollen grains are released from microspongia. They are carried in air current and come in contact with the opening of ovules borne in megasporophylls. The pollen tubes carrying the male gamete grow towards archegonia. In the ovular discharges their contact near the mouth of the archegonia. Following fertilization, zygote develop into the embryo, and the ovules are seed. These seeds are not covered. Dwarf shoot, long shoot are sheets. Angiosperm, unlike the gymnosperm where the ovules are naked in the angiosperm, over flowering plant in the pollen grain, ovules are developed in the specialized structures called flower. In angiosperm, the seeds are enclosed in fruit. The angiosperm are an extremely large group. Plant account in wide range of habitat. The range in size of from the smallest wolfia to taller trees, eucalyptus, over 100 trees. They provided us with a food, fodder, fuel, and medicine, and several other commercially important products. They are divided into two classes: the dicotyledon and monocotyledons. Angiosperm are diclone and monocotyledons. Summary: plant kingdoms include algae, bryophyta, periodophyta, gymnosperm, and angiosperm. Algae are chlorophyll bearing the simple. Thylaid autotropics are largely aquatic organisms. Depending on the types, pigment process and the types of stored food. Algae are classified into the three classes, namely chlorophyll, phaeophysis, and rhodophysis. Algae usually reproduce a vegetative by fragmentation, sexually by the formation of the different types. Spores are sexually a formation of gamete, which may show the isogamy, enzogamy, and oosogamy. Bryophyta plant which can live in soil but are dependent on the water for sexual reproduction. Their plant body is more deficient than that of algae. It has a thalamus like prostate or erect and attract the substrate by rhizome. They process root like, leaf like, and stem like a structure. The bryophyta are divided into liverwort and mosses. The plant body of liverwort is thalite and dorsal ventral, whereas mosses have upright, slender axis bearing spiral arranged leaves. The main plant body of bryophyta is gentle producing and is called gametophyte. It bears male sex organ called antheridium and female sex organ called arconium. The male and female gamete produce fused from zygote, which produce a multicellular body called sporophyta. Produce a haploid spores. The spores germinate to form a gametophyte. In periodophyta, the main plant is a saprophyta, which is differentiated into two root stems and leaves. These organ process well differentiate vascular system. The sporophyta bear spongia which produce spores. The spores germinate to form gametophyte which require cool damp plants grow. Gametophytes bear male and female sex organ called arthritis argonia respectively. Water is required for transfer to male gametes. Two archegonias where zygote is formed after fertilization. The zygote produces a saprophyta. The gymnosperm are the plant in which ovules are not enclosed by any ovary wall. After fertilization, the seed remain exposed and therefore these plants are called naked seeded plant. The gymnosperms produce microspore, megaspore, which are produced in microspongioles and megaspongioles borne on the sporophyll. The sporophylls, microsponglia and megaspore are arranged spiral in axis to form male and female cones respectively. The pollen grain germinate and pollen tube release the male gamete into the ovule, whereas it fuses with the egg cells zirconia following fertilization. The zygote develop into the embryo and ovules into seed. The angiosperm are divided in two classes, the didactylon and the monodactylon. Thank you so much.